Yo, Banter fam. Welcome. As we can see, we are starting to get the market starting to look a bit more green, right? Let's have a look, actually. I like to see this. For the first time in a while, we can start to see that, the whole alt market is starting to surge. And what it was that simple, basic volume candle that we've been speaking about, 2-3 days ago, that nice hourly candle. Let me actually show you quickly what exactly I'm talking about. And that was this big candle over here. Was showing that there was finally a bit of interest at where we got at that market. And when there's interest and Big Daddy starts to get some interest again, it then has a natural way of falling into the altcoins. Now, what I'm going to be showing you guys in the show is I'm going to be showing you that, yes, we've been focusing so much on the actual high time frames, right? We've been focusing very much on, are we good, healthy? Are we good, not? But, what's all the alarms that are going off now is short time frame. There's a lot of gains to be made. So I'm going to be looking at giving you guys a few short-term alt trades as well. The ones that I'm looking at, the ones that keep getting bought up and they keep exploding every time we're getting a little bounce in the markets. I'm going to show you how dominance is at a very critical level. And we know, right, that there's very important news coming out at 3 o'clock today, or 3:30 for us, on interest rates. And on that news, if it goes all and well, we are seeing a nice little pump from Bitcoin and a collapse in dominance, which is showing that we're going to have a nice surge on the altcoins. Now, which altcoins? Guys, that's what you're going to find out. No more wasting time. Let's get into the show.
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam. As you can see today, I spoke to RUNE yesterday to say, RUNE, I really got to go through a lot of altcoins today. And, I wanted to jump on quickly and give you guys a beautiful view of where we're looking at high time frame. I've sort of seen how we've been focusing so much on the actual high time frames. It's time to now, smaller end, let's actually see what's actually happening with these alts. And let's see how we can maximize ourselves in this actual market. Now, the first thing, guys, before I get going, I need you guys, if you're brand new, to join the best community in the world. Now, why is it the best community in the world? Because we are here every day. Sometimes calls are right, sometimes calls are wrong. End of the day, we are all in a brand new market that has hit this world over the last 10 years. And we are all trying to figure it out and to enjoy it together. The main thing is you are not alone. So look to hit that subscribe button, look to like our videos, because that's where we're going to be giving you fantastic giveaways, and just seeing the love from you guys, and just understand that this is about joining community, joining heads together, and facing this new exciting world together. Now, one thing I do want to show you guys, remember we are going to Miami this week, and I want to add in here. And remember, guys, we would love to see you guys. I want to meet a lot of the fans. I want to get into your heads. I actually love meeting fans. Reason being is I want to get in what you are thinking throughout our shows, what you are thinking out of our journeys. It gives me new fuel to understand how I can personally better myself as well. I've been in here for 1 year, not even 1 year. I think I'm 9 months with Crypto Banter. Before, I was this little, I was this guy that was driving around in his car, taking a little bit of space around the world. And I was personally trading myself, and I managed to turn it into an income. I managed to turn it into way bigger than what I thought. And I turned it into a full-time thing. And before that, I never had the opportunity to present and to help people to do this as well. And I was just starting to get into it. And obviously when the show hit and everything hit, I got given this platter of share your knowledge and that. And I had to learn a lot of lessons myself as well. And I promise you one thing, I am growing. growing myself, and I am here to make sure that we do become the best out there and that you guys are able to actually prosper. So meeting the fans is fantastic. So guys, if you do go to the description below, you can see that there is the Miami link over here. Please guys, only if you are coming to the actual event, please go look and get yourself a ticket. I think there was another 250 added, so I think there's close to 1,000 tickets now. Come share with us, come meet us, let's get to know each other, and I want you to always know that we're part together. Now, secondly, the next thing I want you to look at, guys, is this amazing website that we are getting. Now, we have started a whole new routine where we are putting so much focus into this, guys, because we think that this is the main hub for Crypto Banter. This is for you to go pick up, you know, the recap of the shows in a nice form. It's there to give you strategies, there to give you newsletters, it's there to give you information on the market. Please make sure you're capitalizing on it. Remember, you need to sign in with your Twitter. So look to sign in with your Twitter. It works like Twitter, and you can see all the amazing articles. And don't tell Rand that I told you this, but I heard there's a really big Fantom article coming today. So make sure you are on that and having a look, because we're seeing fantastic news that's currently happening with Fantom, and we're seeing a DeFi spike, which I'm going to get into shortly, and I think Fantom is a big reason because of that. So make sure you are on the website and you are using all the tools properly. The only way that we can look after the fam and look after everyone is if you are using all of our tools. You're on our Telegram groups, you're on our Twitters, you're on everything. Why? The Twitters is there to help if the markets are moving quick. We're there to help you with things. So make sure that we always have communication with you guys. Now, let's jump in. Let's have a nice look to see what's happening in the market. I like to see that we're finally starting to get a whole surge. And this is good. This is good because what has happened previously in the last 2-3 weeks is we're getting random alt spikes in the market, but we never had much days where the whole alt market was starting to wake up together. Now, this is good. It means that Bitcoin is starting to get a little bit of confidence, and as soon as confidence comes to the market, they diversify straight out of Bitcoin, straight back into the alts, which is great. Now, we've been chatting about which are the major alts that we're looking at. And, you know, I sort of sat to myself last night and I was thinking, like, why am I focused so much on the high time frame right now, where a lot of the shorter time frames, I'm talking for the remainder of the week, I'm talking for the next 2 weeks, are looking really, really massive amount of gains. And I can't rush the high time frame charts. I can't rush the higher time frame views. So how can we capitalize more now at this point, and until we get to the major areas, and then we can start looking at the high time frame views, you know, our long-term views. Should we be worrying? Should we be freeing up? Remember, you got two different people out there. You got your traders, the guys that want to make a little bit more active cash. And with that comes discipline. It comes you having set rules of managing your risk. It comes to a place where you have to take profits at some sort of point. Why? Because a trader is there to make the money and to get out. It's quite simple. And what he does with the money once he's taken it out is the next important thing. By understanding, I need to fill some long bags. I need to make my trading account a little bit bigger. And I need to fill up a cash bag so that there's any more further dips in the market. Guys, how do you see me calm all the time? And why do you always see when these big things happen, I'm calm and I can come here and I can chat? Why? Because I've prepped for anything in the market. I've prepped if the dip comes, I got cash. If it does work, I need to know that I need to take profits at some sort of point. Like, I've managed to work a great strategy. And that's what I want to start incorporating in this show now. I want to start getting to a point where we can start going through all different aspects and see how do we actually work on a great money splitting system? How do we work on these things? And you know, still understand that doesn't matter where the market's at, a strategy is always going to change all depending where in the market cycle are we at. Now, where have we been recently with Bitcoin? We've been in this accumulating zone, right? Where there's not really much time to be, making these massive gains. This is, we know, when it's a flushing out system of actual retail, where they slowly start making you lose interest in the market, but yet we know in the background, we're getting these beautiful volume spikes. And I want to show you these volume spikes because every time I see Bitcoin with these strong dips, I'm seeing these lovely green volume spikes, as well as the red spikes, but when I see the red volume spikes, I'm seeing these pin drop candles. And I'm getting indication that, retail aren't the ones that are really, stocking up at these zones. It's the big guys, because every time we get to a specific level, we're getting these huge volume spikes. And you can see how the volume spikes are going over the averages at this point. So at least I know that we're at a point of interest to say that we don't know that 39,600 was exactly the bottom, but we are getting to the bottom phase. And does that mean that Bitcoin's going to recover and it's going to break all-time highs in the next 3 months? Not just yet, because we still got to imply that we've held the higher low in play. We've actually hit a beautiful double bottom where we've hit the exact same key levels. And now we know that going up, the next bull leg up, it's got some work to do. And it's meaning we have to reclaim specific levels. But to say that this market's not going to bounce and go up doesn't make sense ever, because this market, out of all the history ever, every time it's gone down, the bulls have always had a time to reply. And now we're looking at the high time frames to say that, Bitcoin's now hit a double bottom. It hasn't really made a lower low. I then jump through and I see all my stochastic RSIs are oversold on the daily, on the weekly, and on the monthly, which is another really big one. All of them are sitting right at the actual bottom. Now, I want to now make a quick difference between an investor and a trader before I jump into some short-term trades and I go through a few views of the actual alts. Guys, remember now what we do between these shows. We look at good coins that actually make sense that they're going to make money in the future, right? We have so much research guides that go through these things every day. Our goal is to just bring you really good alts. And we then need you to do the work to identify, firstly, am I a trader or am I an investor? Guys, I just want to remind you, if you are an investor, right, you get so much information of these coins that are making sense fundamentally, especially of RAND show, you get so many of them. Now, how do you simplify that? Remember what an investor does. An investor always looking just to add to his positions. He's never looking to sell, right? Because you are in this thing for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You're looking, where is a good time to add to my bags? And that's very simple, because all you basically got to do is you just got to refer to one simple thing, which is a weekly chart and a stochastic RSI as an investor. Now, why? Because an investor is not a person that's supposed to be buying in and out very often. I would say probably 2 buys a year as an investor. The only question to yourself is, what am I buying? Now, you get all of these great tools, and this is where you got to now go do the research and see, are these things really going to do fantastic? But when it comes to investor strategy, it's actually very, very, very simple. Now, what I mean by that is if you just have this little tool, even if you're an investor, you load this up on your chart and it's the stochastic RSI. And with this is you always want to be looking to stock up when these things are oversold. So when they're under the 20% range is where you want to buy. Now, I want to show this again to you. What is happening with Bitcoin right now? Bitcoin, let's just match it up here. Here we go. Bitcoin is oversold right now on the weekly, right? Before that, when was the last time it was oversold? It was this region, this long period over here. Where was the value? Now remember the stochastic, you are waiting for the cross of those lines. But now if you look, when was the last time Bitcoin was in the position that it is right now? And it was in this accumulation zone, very similar to where we're thinking we are in this zone over here, right? Where was Bitcoin? It was 34, they call it $30,000 to $35,000 was this area over here that we're hovering in, right? Before that, where was Bitcoin? It was over this oversold position over here. Bitcoin was $11,000. Before that, where was it? $5,000 to $6,000. So as an investor, you love Bitcoin, right? There's your one tool that when we get into the oversold positions, you are loading up as an investor. Remember, you're not looking to sell short time, you're looking to hold for a while and to make massive gains, right? There was your signal. Before that, there was your signal. Before that, there was your signal. And in that time frame, that shows you that there only would have been 4 buys for Bitcoin over the last 2 years. It would have been 1, 2, in this area, 3, 4. And it would have showed you, you'll be shocked at the levels. Now, look at this to any coin. Let's jump to Solana. Okay? Look at this. As an investor, right? I want to buy Solana. When do I buy Solana? Look over here, oversold, right? Where's the price now? We're looking at 140, anywhere in that zone. It may hover, therefore, it doesn't matter. You're buying in an oversold position. Before that, when was that? It was 26 July 2021. Okay, so you're looking at more or less 7 months ago. Where was Solana? $30 to $35. Okay, before that, where was Solana? $2. Is it hard to be an investor? The only hard thing about investor is what good coin is actually going to make a difference and actually has some utility behind and actually make a difference. Let's go to another one. Let's go to anyone. We can go to Kusama. Where would Kusama would have told you? Your last buys would have been at 182. Before that, when would your buys? Okay, it's not enough much info. Let's jump to EGLD. Same thing. Where would EGLD be telling you to buy? It would have told you to buy up in this range over here at $90. It's now at $200. Let's go to Luna. Luna, where would it have told you? Let's jump in here. Look over there. This whole sold position over here, which means you would have been buying anywhere between $5 and $20 in that zone. Where's it sitting now? $77. So as an investor, all you want to look at is that this simple tool. Use Rand's coins, use these fundamental coins, match them up here, and when you see that we are in an oversold position, that's when an investor dollar costs in that zone. So as soon as we enter the zone, dollar cost, until we start breaking above the 20% mark. Now that's a brilliant strategy just to get, I want to separate the traders to the investors because two of them have two different views. And I don't want the investors falling into the traders' habits, and I don't want the traders' habits falling into the investors' habits. Same as RUNE, guys, look at these. RUNE would have been telling you to buy there. Let's actually go to Ethereum. This is an important one over here as well. Before this, when were we oversold? Ethereum was sitting at $2,000. Before that, where was Ethereum sitting? $1,700. Before that, where was Ethereum sitting? $450. Before that, where was it sitting? $124. Before that, where was it sitting? $130. Guys, look, all that it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're at where are the RSIs right now? So the whole purpose of this is to identify where are we. We're trying to rush a market that we have absolutely no control of. I just want to know, where are we? We are getting to an oversold position, which means my dollar costing into these zones as an investor, this is where my maximum gains are. And I don't have to even worry about the FUD. I don't even have to worry about the news. I'm just working off of a simple tool that historically has worked all the damn time. And the only difference is, as an investor, is you got to have a lot more patience. And it means any call that Rand gives or any call that I give, if you are looking to buy that coin as an investment, jump to the weekly, put your stochastic on. If it's in the oversold position, that's your dollar costing signal. And every day, what you can do is some will be there, some won't. Now, what I mean by that is we look at Luna now. Luna is not there yet, which means that the previous buys were in this area over here, which means that Luna doesn't mean you mustn't, it's not a straight buy, but as an investor, my tool is not telling me it's there just yet. So my tool is telling me that Ethereum's a buy, and that's for my stocking up, and that's one of the coins that I want to be adding. But Luna is saying, just be a bit more patient. When it gets there, set your alarm for the 20, then your dollar cost in, and now it gives you a beautiful strategy to say, there's 50 coins that I want to be in, but at least you have a strategy to know when to buy them. You're not buying all the coins at the same time, guys, because then you're basically blind buying and you're not actually working behind a simple strategy. So I just wanted to give that for you guys. So any info you get on the charts or anything you get in the shows, make sure you are falling back to a simple strategy. Are you an investor or are you an actual trader? Now, let's jump into small time frames, guys, because we got some good news coming through today. I'm thinking it's going to be good news. Let's see what news actually comes out, and we're going to prep for both. So what has happened on Bitcoin recently is, we've been hovering at the zone. We got a nice little shakeout, which came to 39,600. And then what I had this little trend line in play here to say, okay, this was the little 4-hour shorter time frame accumulation zone, right? Then what happened was we then broke out. And now we finally got a decent higher high in play, okay? And what it's basically telling me is when we break out, remember masterclasses, guys, always use back, and please practice with me when we are taking these things so you can finally start understanding. Now, we break through the higher high, and when we break a resistance, we always want to come test as support. Now, I know this trend line is saying that Bitcoin can still drop in the region of 42,000. Now, if I think, okay, we've got news coming in the next, 5 hours or next 6 hours, the market's not going to fully pump just yet because they don't know what the news is going to be. So we're sitting in a phase now where there's a bit of uncertainty in the market. So I'm seeing, for the possible next, 5 hours that we can hover in the range of, the 42 to 43, okay? And worst scenario is news comes out bad. And if news comes out bad, then what's going to basically happen is Bitcoin can look to then rally back to the low wick to anywhere in these sort of zones over here, right? So that means, okay, if news comes out bad, I know we can have quite a big dip off and we can come back down to the low 30s. But now if the news goes good, what happens? Because we all know the simple of imbalance, right? If something moves fast to one side, it can move just as fast the other side. We've seen it many times. If people want to say this market's not damn bullish, guys, the bulls have always been stronger than the bears. So it means if this goes well today, we can see a beautiful spike. From here, we can actually see a nice little rally for Bitcoin to make its way to the $46,000 region, which means if I had to work on percentage-wise, I'm looking if it goes wrong, possible another 5% down to go test those lows, because people already knew this could come. So I think that if it does go wrong, it's damage, but it's not, a lot of the damage I think is already set in the price. And that's why we've had such a big sort of downwards market for the last few weeks. But if it goes right, I can see a possible, 10% gain from Bitcoin. Now I look at that and then I go and I jump and I say, okay, cool. Let me go look at dominance. What's happening to dominance right now? Oh, dominance is starting to show quite a bit of weakness. So Bitcoin's going up right now. Dominance is dropping. And what is that equaling? That's equaling to a nice altcoin surge. So that means if the news goes well today and we get a 10% pump over the next, let's say the next few days to the end of the week, what are we going to get from the alts? Because now we can see very clearly that the dominance is clearly still in favor of the alts, which means we can get a proper alt surge. Where we can really get, not to say that we've recovered this bull market, this bear cycle, and we're going to go break all-time highs. It's telling me that there's a good 20, 30, 40% to be made in alts. And then only next week, when we get to the critical areas of Bitcoin getting to the 46,000, and the 46 is the main daily trend. So this little move over here is showing me that there's actually a lot of money in between that can be made. And when that money is made, when we get to this zone, then we know as investors, okay, should we make a higher decision now? Can Bitcoin, if we don't break through 46 to the 48,000 region, it's very possible that we can come down to test the lows again, which taught me now, I jumped in now, I made the gains, right? And when we get to the zone, if I start getting rejection, let me free up some cash again. So if it goes back down to these zones again, I can look to capitalize again in the market, capitalize and add to my actual positions. So what I am looking is, I'm currently short-term in the market, and there's a few that I'm looking to go short-term as well. I'm looking at the possibilities of the next 4 to 5 hours, a possible drop of Bitcoin to 42, anywhere in those sort of zones. And if we drop back into trend, which means we drop below 41,500, 41,400, it gives me the indication we can possibly go back down to the 39K region. So I'm looking to be adding some shorter term trades. And when I'm looking to add shorter term trades, I'm looking to buy up in these zones, and I'm looking to set a stop loss. You don't have to use a stop loss. Go make sure that you do watch the masterclass on the stop loss. It's all about practice now, guys. I'm looking to put the stop loss in play here, and I'm looking for the rally up to those zones. And then what? Then I have a beautiful tool, okay? And in this tool, if you're a part of it or not, it's up to you guys. But I still think this is one of the most amazing tools that you can have, which is the CoinPanel site. And this gives me the full access to communicate with you if things go right or things go wrong. You can see I've been giving these zones for a long time. If you're a part of these things, it's going to give you the good, it's a way that I can start talking to you and start helping. Now, yesterday I tweeted out there, and that's why it's important to make sure you're on our Twitters as well. Let it just load up, that I'm taking a short-term dot trade. And when we did that, there was my buy, is when I called it on the thing. And now we're starting to make our way up. And now I've told you where to put a stop loss. I've told you I'm taking short-term TPs. So it means that I'm seeing the possibility of DOT. 11% is where I'm taking some profits. And when it gets to 20%, I'm taking some profits. Why? Because I still don't know if Bitcoin's going to break 46 or 48K yet. But I don't want to miss out on 20% gains. So it means I'm actioning on these things, but I'm also actioning with the exit strategy so that I can make some more cash. And what do I do with that cash? I can buy more long-term coins. I can stock up more on my actual portfolio. Now, why did I get up on DOT? And why did I load up? Just see why it's taking some time to load up there. Is reason being with DOT is, if I look at where DOT is now, there was that entry, right? And I look at where DOT has come from and where it's looking at. So let's jump quickly to the daily and the higher time frames. As an investor, I'm super interested, right? Because of this big pullback. But nothing goes in a straight line. When we have something come back down, it's very possible we can make a way up and test as a 618, meaning from here we can have a jump there, and possibly we can have this, where this goes up here, possibly. But I can see very much that this is an area where there can be great gains on the shorter time frame sort of mark with DOT. So what I am looking at with DOT is I'm looking that it's going to make its way to go test the trend. If it breaks through that trend, it can make its way easy to around $35, $36. And why am I countering off of this? Because I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart as well, and to see if Bitcoin has a surge and has a 10% pump. I know DOT can do a 20% pump either. Why? Because DOT was the one that was sucked more than what Bitcoin was. Now, to show you that quick is look at percentage-wise from top to bottom. DOT is it's close to 60% down from its all-time high. we then go look at Bitcoin from where we are, 38%. So we can see DOT was clearly the one that had the smaller pullback. So it means if we have a nice little push up in the market, we then know that DOT will be a nice little giant that will bring massive gains for us. So I'm looking at DOT. Now, the only thing that I want to chat to you with about DOT is make sure it's in the zone. So if we have a look here on that 4 hour, and what I was speaking about is, now if Bitcoin comes to that 42 zone, because of uncertainty until the news comes out, I'm seeing DOT come to the zone. Don't chase the pumps. Wait for a little pullback. If DOT comes anywhere between 25 to 26 or 25.60, that's when I want to be capitalizing, because then what I'm able to do is I'm able to put a stop loss at 24 and I'm able to put TPs up here. But what does that teach us again? It shows you that my risk of this trade is 3%, but my gains is 13 to 15%. So I'm running at a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. So my gains are worth the actual risk if we get it right and it starts to surge. So DOT is one of them I'm looking after. The next one that I'm looking for is Luna. Now, reason being Luna's just broken this 4 hour top over here. And I'm seeing Luna come for a quick retest. And in that retest, I'm seeing it catch between 75.20 to the $76 mark. That's where I want to be capitalizing. I'm going to be putting a stop loss in the region of 72, and I'm looking at my first TP at 85 and my second TP around $93. And same thing over here. I can now see 4% risk, and I can see gains, 12% to 26% is where I'm looking at. I'm here again then tomorrow to see where we are with these trades, and then we can see, okay, should we rather hold a little bit longer, or should we just update our stop loss and make sure we are risk-free in the trade? So Luna's one I'm capitalizing on now. I want to be catching it. Make sure you are getting it strongly in the entry zone. The next one is looking good for me is EGLD. This is also looking really good for a nice 20-30% gainer. I'm looking at us entering between $200 and $205 is where I want to be getting in, with a stop loss in the region of 193, anywhere in that zone, which means, anywhere risk-wise, I'm looking at 4 to 5%, and I'm looking at reward-wise between 15 and 30% in the thing. So EGLD is the next one I want to be looking at quite strong. One that looked really good, short time frame, and obviously investor-wise, is RUNE. So remember what I did, guys. The beginning of the show, I gave you the understanding when, as an investor, do you buy RUNE? It's very simple. There's a stochastic RSI. It's sitting right at the bottom. So as an investor, you should be interested in RUNE, right? Now, as a trader, should I be interested in RUNE? Now, let's have a look over here. We can see very clearly that this is a clear, nice breakout. We have a higher high in play. I do think it can come test anywhere between $6 to 6.1, 6.2. That's where I want to be capitalizing in. I want to be putting a stop loss in play, which is a nice, 2-3% stop loss. And look, what's nice about this is the gain wise, you're looking at a 15%, you're looking at a 30% just the upward side. Now look how small I'm acting on this, because I'm looking at this little range over here. What happens if we do break the big ranges? And let's say now RUNE on way high time frame rallies there. Where's your damn entry? Do you see where your entry is? We are literally firstly on the way high time frame. I'm buying the bottom of the wedge. Is this the breakout yet? We will soon find out. But if it is the damn breakout, do you see where I'm now laddering up? I managed my risk and look at the actual massive gains. Guys, if RUNE does run from this zone to here, you're looking at 112%. You see, so I'm looking at high time frame. Everything is telling me investor-wise, this should be going crazy with good fundamental coins right now. And short time wise, it's showing me that there is a lot of short-term gains to be made. So RUNE is the next one that I'm looking at. The next, what's looking great for me is AVAX. AVAX has just broken its first higher high. It is looking good. I see it testing. I do see Bitcoin with a small little test down, okay? But I'm looking at AVAX the same thing. I'm seeing it between $90 and $92 in that zone is where I want to be stocking up. I then want to be adding a stop loss at $88 because that's just under my my support, right? So now what does that mean? Same thing. I'm looking at risk, 2 to 3%. And where am I seeing it from here? Just smaller time frame views is if we just go test these resistances over here, I can easily see us rallying from here. Just get my ruler back, rallying from here to there, 10%, and to there, 22%. Now let me go look on higher time frames as an investor. What has just happened? Investor-wise, we've just now become oversold on the weekly. don't know if you can see it there. There we go. You can see how we've just come. So investor-wise, I'm interested in loading up an AVAX. Look where we are on high time frame support. So now what happens if I'm buying up here and AVAX starts to break through and starts to rampage up to this upward sort of side? Do you see where my entry is? Now, what I'm going to teach you guys is when we get to those TP zones, it's important that we're laddering the TPs. So it means when it gets to my TP1, I take 20% profit. When it gets to my TP2, I take 30% profit. You know, eventually I'm going to leave in 20 or 30% in case it does do this. And I literally caught the bottom. And then what my focus on is as AVAX starts rallying up, I can look to be adding more of my positions on each dip when my high time frame RSIs are hitting the bottom, when my things are this. And do you see how we're starting to simplify this? I think we still have a very big complication between investors and traders, but together they're actually very simple. And we need to stop complicated. We just got to manage risk and we just got to simp. So AVAX is looking great. DOT is looking great. You know, as an investor wise, ADA, look at these RSIs, guys, on the weekly. Look at that. We can see where that's sitting at the point. We can see where render's just entering. It's about to get to those zones. So render is telling me we're not under 20% yet, but in the next week or two, we will be under 20%. And that's time to be acting on as an investor. As you can see, ADA, Chainlink is already taken off. Will I be buying Chainlink as an investor now? No. Why? Because it's just gone off. It's literally just made its way up on the weekly now. We are not in oversold position. And what does that do? It teaches you not to chase the pump because Chainlink has already gone up about 80% since the bottom. So it's teaching you as an investor, wait, be patient. And when this gets down to the bottom again, as an investor, this is where you load up again. Same thing with all of them. Look at Super. Not there yet. I'm a bit more patient with Super. Look at Matic. Not there yet. So I'm being a bit more patient. Look at Qredo. This is getting to a zone where we are on support now, and I saw the daily. There's just not enough data yet, just yet in the weekly. So it's a new coin, so I'm using the daily for that one, taking a bit more time. Look at Fantom. Fantom's off. It's not a buy just yet. It would have told you, though, that on the 20th of December, it was a buy. And where was Fantom? $1.4. So it's quite simple as an investor, right? This is what you need to know and short time frame. So I'm not going too crazy short time frame yet. I'm sticking to these ones. I'm using EGLD. I'm using Luna, I'm using RUNE, I'm using AVAX. And if DOT possibly hits the entry zone, that's where I'm looking to take some short-term trades. Because if this news goes good today, guys, we're going to get a beautiful surge in the market. You know, we can see it very clearly that this market has just gone down for the last few weeks. At some point, we're going to get a beautiful green candle at some sort of point where we're looking at. And it could be now. And that's why I'm capitalizing on managing my risk, putting the stuff into play. I'm not going to miss it if we move. So look to add those as short-term for any short-term guys. And it's very simple for you investors that are looking to think. Look to get the information on what coins we're looking at. Go look at them, look if they make sense, and use the simple technique of an actual stochastic RSI. Make it simple for yourself and make it easy for yourself. So guys, I think I want to keep the show at around 33 now. Remember to show some love, to join. Make sure you're on all of our platforms. Make sure you're on our website. If you are in Miami and you want to come see us, make sure you get yourself a ticket, but please make sure you are there only. Remember, me and Ran would be love to be fetched in a Lamborghini. So if there's anyone available to fetch us in a Lamborghini, please let us know. That will be absolutely fantastic. And remember, guys, to if you are new, to hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and join the actual family. We are going to be doing a lot more of these shows now. I'm going to be just going a bit more into, you know, risk management, when we're taking these for short-term guys, for long-term guys, and just to start to show you guys. I remember where I was a year ago, and it all comes back to me on how I managed to do it. And I managed to ignore the noise, and I managed to use a simple system. So the only reason I got there quick, guys, is because I didn't complicate it. I used something that works, you know, like the stochastic on the weekly. All these things are simple things. The only difficult thing is an investor needs to know he's an investor. And if he's going to FOMO in and out of the market, he's going to lose. That's not his purpose. An investor's purpose is to be buying dips. And when do you buy that? You know, use high time frames, and you should only be buying once or twice a year on a specific coin. The only difference is all coins move differently. So some will be in the buy zone now, some are not ready yet. But at least you can start preparing that, you know, I need dollars because that coin is not there yet, but I got my alarms, and when it gets there, that's when I want to be buying it. And it's just going to teach you that you should be looking at this market right now as a big opportunity for you. You know, the markets are really on special, and there's fantastic coins that are really going to make a massive difference, and you should be capitalizing on those as well. So keep it simple, keep it easy. And I'll see you guys all on the next show. Much love, Banter fam.